paper, these are all doing the same thing. They're 3 conical drippers. Yet, once you start brewing with them, they behave completely differently. Flow changes, timing changes, and the cup changes with it. So today we're putting 3 of the most used brewers head to head. The Hario V60 Neo, the Cafec Flower Dripper, and the Origami Dripper. Same coffee, same recipes, and for consistency, I'm sticking with my usual setup here too. I've got the Hario Alpha Kettle, a Hario set of Polaris scales, and the Option O P80. Now the only thing that's changing is what the dripper will do to the brew. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky because even though we're keeping everything consistent, these don't really play like plug and play systems. Each one does want to be brewed slightly differently. You could adjust for that, but then not really comparing them anymore. So instead, we're keeping everything locked in. 15 grams of coffee, 250 mils of water, same grind, same techniques, using 2 different brew styles just to cover it off. We're doing a structured pulse pour of a 4-6 brew method and then a standard 3 pour recipe. And we're not optimizing each brewer. We're just seeing what happens when they're treated the same. From there, it's just about watching how the differences show up. And then later we're going to talk about why those differences actually happen. So with that, this is something I've always wanted to do. 1 second. Woohoo! Height adjustable table. Let's get brewing. At first glance, nothing really looks that different. But if you watch closely, you do start to see it. Water sitting higher in some of the brewers, dropping faster in others, some beds holding shape, whilst others start to collapse unevenly. It's subtle, but it is there, and once you start timing it, it does become very obvious. The Hario V60 Neo finishes at around 2 minutes 20, and the flow is always just steady the whole way through. No real acceleration, no slowdown, just consistent drawdown. The Cafec Flower Dripper is almost the opposite. It starts reasonably open, then gradually tightens as the brew progresses, finishing further on between 3 to 3 minutes 30. And you can feel that resistance build towards the end of the brew. The Origami Dripper is the most volatile here. Fast bloom, clean, early flow, then a noticeable drop-off, finishing after 3 minutes 30 with, I would say, a slight sense of stalling at the end. So even before tasting, you're not looking at small differences anymore. You're looking at 3 different flow behaviors. And that's the real signal, because now the question shifts from what did I do differently to what is the system doing on its own? And this is where it makes sense, because we know the dripper shapes the path of the water with the geometry and the ribs inside. And the paper, this controls the resistance. Now, together, they define how fast or slow the brew actually runs. That's what we're watching for, where things accelerate, where they hold back, and how stable that behavior feels from start to finish with consecutive pours. And once you start seeing it that way, a few things become obvious here. How much the paper contracts to the wall of the brewer, for example. If it sits tight, it reduces bypass and it tightens the flow through the dripper. And if it's held away, you open up that lateral movement of the water around the bed of coffee. That alone can shift how the brew behaves. Then there's the flow efficiency through the bed. Some designs simply run faster, which sounds positive until you realize you often then need to grind finer just to recover extraction, and that brings its own trade-offs. More fines, perhaps more sensitivity, and less forgiveness in the brew occasionally. Then the geometry. All 3 are relatively similar in their wall angle, but you can't dismiss the ribs is a dominant factor here. And the exit geometry. They're all fairly open, but the Origami has by far the largest exit area, meaning less restriction at the base and more dependence on everything above it as you're pouring to regulate flow. Then there's material. Even in broad terms, if you maintain a hotter slurry during brewing, you tend to get more efficient flow through the bed. Less heat loss and more consistent movement, which is why plastic brewers like the Hario V60 Neo are becoming more common. Not just because they're easy to manufacture, but because they retain heat effectively throughout the brewing process. But finally, we can't ignore the paper filter, because even though the dripper defines the structure, the paper filter is your primary resistance layer. So for this test, I used the Meteor paper filters with the Hario V60, the Abaca Plus filters with the Cafec Flower Dripper, and the Origami cone filters with the Origami Dripper. And you're starting to see this pattern now. Brands building full ecosystems. Not just brewers, but papers, kettles, grinders, scales, built into workflows, and everything locked into a system. So I'm going to brew another round of coffee here. Same structure, slightly coarser grind, and a 3-pour recipe. Not to change flavor, but to test stability. Because if a brewer truly is stable, it shouldn't just behave once. It should behave consistently, brew after brew. And what's interesting here is that not much actually changes. The Hario V60 Neo still holds its flow. Same timing, no volatility, no surprises. The Cafec Flower Dripper still tapers, a little faster overall, but the same gradual slowdown remains. And the Origami Dripper still leads with speed and then drops off toward the end. Still the most reactive of the three. So at this point, it stops feeling like a recipe problem and starts feeling like a system behavior. And you can already see that in the cup. Now, I find it incredible that you can almost map the flavor to the way each brewer behaved. For example, starting with the Hario V60 Neo. That stable flow shows up immediately in the cup. Now for reference, I've been brewing with a washed anaerobic Colombian. And the flavor notes in this coffee are orange peel, passion fruit, and a lot of florals. But more importantly, everything feels structurally aligned. Nothing dominates, but nothing fades early. The Cafec Flower Dripper, that slower tapering profile, you taste that as lime and coconut. Still sweet, still rounded, but with a bit more weight and development behind it. And then the Origami Dripper, that sensitivity becomes obvious. The fast opening, then a softer, slower finish. I'm getting light orange cordial characters. Sweet, easy drinking, but less in terms of its structure. Placed side by side, you can almost predict the cup just by watching the brew. Stable flow tends to give structured clarity. Tapered flow tends to give depth and weight. Reactive flow tends to give variation and softness. So no, they're not interchangeable, even if they look similar. And it's not really about which one of these is best. It's about what behavior do you want to design your recipes around. Because what this test shows is that some brewers give you stability by holding flow constant, whereas others give you expression by reacting more to your inputs. The Hario Neo doesn't make better coffee, it just makes consistent coffee easier to achieve. The Cafec and the Origami give you more responsiveness, more feedback, and more movement with more interpretation in the cup. And depending on how you like to brew, that's either exactly what you want or exactly what you're trying to simplify. And if there's one takeaway from all of this, it's this. Once you understand how a brewer behaves, you can stop fighting it and you can start working with it instead. All of these brewers make great coffee, but now you understand why it tastes the way it does. For me, the Hario Neo just fits how I like to brew. It's predictable, it's consistent, and that's something that I've come to value more and more when brewing coffee. Worst case scenario, you upgrade and then you suddenly got a very thoughtful gift for someone perhaps still using a French press from 2009. Now, if you've got any further questions on any one of these brewers, drop it in the comment section down below and I'll get straight back to you. Thanks. Thank you so much for watching all the way through to the end of this video. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.